welcome to Divinely Driven. My name is Angelina. This morning I sat down and just did a little automatic writing, and I wanted to share my message that I received from one of my guides with all of you. So I'm going to be reading from it a little bit, maybe even expanding on it if that is what my guide has in mind. It's a little bit different when I do these recorded messages because there's no kind of way to ask questions except for in the comments, and they can be answered later on. But typically, as you guys know, I like doing lives because when I do get a channeled message, it gives you all a chance to ask questions to get them kind of expanded on, the message to get expanded on. But that is not the case for today. So if you do have questions, please make sure that you leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them back. Also, if you ever have any questions that you would like to have channeled to you in other sessions, please let me know, again, in the comments. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. So happy to have you here. Please make sure you like and subscribe and hit that little bell, and the bell will make sure that you get all notifications for lives, for recorded videos, and anything and everything that you may be interested in participating in. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this message. Accept divinity as yours. You can and you must. This is the highest order at this time. No regretting, step out and you can do this. There are no limits to what we can do together. I have things in hand. You are special and capable of many things. You allow us to work together. There is no fear. Stick to your practice. Manifesting is done this way. We are bringing you what you need. Our expectations come from you. It is my job to remind you of your strength. You see and feel me as strong, and then you begin feeling strong. You think it is because you are an empath, but this is incorrect thinking. It is because we are all connected by spirit. My strength is your strength. What happens when you judge another? Whatever weakness you recognize is truly your own, for their weakness is your own weakness by extension and by connection. And so you manifest weakness within the collective, within yourself and within others. Choosing love is not only a happy and good thing, it is also imperative for the success of humanity. If, though, you do find weakness, do not fret or worry that you have manifested wrongly. Accept your perception and release it. Question this projection of weakness and what is in your heart, and then you resolve this projection through love. Love here means a recognition of wrongness and committed to its correction. When a pendulum swings one way, remember, it can always swing back. When you're not asked to control or stop the wave, but to ride it and learn to recognize its patterns. We love the ocean as an analogy because it relates closest to the emotions of humans. What is one thing that is preventing me from coming into my truest, highest good and power? So the first thing of accept divinity as yours. You can and must. This is the highest order at this time. So what they're saying is the divinity of the messages I receive, the miracles that I facilitate or that are facilitated around me or for me, those all things are divine in nature and also inherently within me and you because we're all connected. So they kind of expand more on what that connection means as we go further down. But the first thing that they want us to know is that when we accept the divinity of who we truly are inherently within ourselves, that is the biggest block that we have, is when we feel like that is something outside of us, okay? What they're saying is no regretting, step out, and you can do this. So that's kind of like obvious. It's like a little like morale booster, like, come on, Angelina, and everybody and anybody who's watching this video, like, we can do this. We have the power within us to make it happen if we only step out of this box. So right now, every single person watching this, including myself, we are all in a box, a societal box, a cultural box. Whatever is expected of us, that is what we strive to become. What they're asking for us to do is to step out of that, step out of the expectation, step out of the cultural nuances, step out of all of that so that you can understand who you are, who you're meant to be, and what you're meant to do. I can't tell you how many people ask me, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. My job sucks. Like, I don't know what path to choose, etc., etc. And the reason for that is because we are fighting against ourselves in order to make society happen, to make ourselves work within that society. What they're telling us now is to come out of that. Let that go, because it's never going to happen, right? We're never going to be exactly what we're supposed to be, because that's not us. That's somebody else. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure it is. Okay. Of course, then they say there's no limits of what we can do together. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then they say I have things in hand, which is really good for me to know, because there's a lot of changes that are coming in my life right now, and probably in all of your lives as well, with the current political craziness, all of these things that are going on. We can trust that it is in divine timing, it is in divine hands. Even though we might be scared or worried, we don't have to be, because it's all lining up for the highest good. You are special and capable of many things if you allow us to work together. Again, this is that internal struggle of who I want to be and who others want me to be. Allowing that expectation to be released. So when people expect things of us, we begin to expect it of ourselves. And they kind of talk about this in just a second. So there is no fear. Stick to your practice. So this is an important thing. If you don't have a spiritual practice, if you don't meditate, if you don't exercise, if you don't do yoga, if you don't practice mindfulness, if you have no spiritual practice, whatever that is for you, that is your very first step. I hope that makes sense. Like, what they're telling me, what they're reminding me of, because this weekend I didn't really do much of my practice, but what they're reminding me to do is take that 5 minutes, take that 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long time, but remember that this practice is what keeps the vibration up. It keeps me in alignment, and it also keeps me connected with all of you who are watching, and you connected with me, so it enhances that connection. Next, it's telling me manifesting is done this way, and we are bringing you what you need. So what that means, again, is keeping that vibration high, keeping yourself in alignment is how you get the things that you're manifesting. It's how intention is set. So if I am not sticking to the practice, then I'm not sticking to my intention, which means my manifesting is going to get all kinds of jacked up. So really being very clear about what I'm doing, keeping myself accountable, keeping myself in that practice. All of that is incredibly important. So not just for me, but also for all of you. The practice is the hardest part because it's so easy to fall out of it. It's so easy to get busy. It's so easy to get caught up. It's easy to just watch Netflix instead. All of that stuff is what they're trying to deter us away from, to keep ourselves in that practice, okay? Our expectations come from you. So that's that manifesting. So if my expectation is that I'm going to fail, my guides, whatever, they're going to make that happen for me because that's what I want. That's what I'm making happen. So I have to make sure, we all have to make sure our vibrations are staying high and our own internal wants and needs are staying in the highest good. So there's a difference between expectation and manifesting. So maybe I'll get more into depth with that at another time. But essentially what's happening is expectation has a sense of control, whereas intention setting and manifesting allows for the control to go into the hands of our guides in the universe. So we know that we want a successful business, but how we get that business is up to our guides. Okay? Expectations means that it's going to happen now and we're going to get all this money and everything's going to be lined up. That's an expectation we have, and so we take that away from our guides. If you have questions about that, that is a really confusing concept for most people, including myself, because I feel like even though I understand it, it's still kind of out there in left field. So if you have questions about that one, let me know. They say it is their job to remind us of our strength. If we see and feel that we are strong, we begin to feel strong. So if we are connected to our guides and we're connected to spirit, and that spirit is strong, we start bringing in that strength. We start to feel it. We start to be reminded that we are also strong beings because we are connected to something strong. So when they're telling me or telling you, because a lot of people, including myself, take on the label of empath. What does that mean? That means that whenever somebody is feeling something, we are strongly connected to that person or that emotion that they're feeling, and then we take it on. Empaths are really good about recognizing what emotions are being out there to be able to name it and claim it and then transmute it. So what they're telling me in this particular message is, because we're connecting to other people, we're assuming that that's actually like our empath ability. When actually what's truly happening is we're just connecting. Everyone is connected. Everyone and everything is connected in some kind of way. So if I'm feeling your strength, that isn't because I'm an empath. It's because we are all connected to source. So releasing that label. Okay. And they're also saying that this is wrong thinking. This is incorrect thinking. When we come into this stage of thinking we are empath, like coming into that label, what's actually happening is we're discounting the actual connectedness of the universe because we want to have like a pretty label. We want to be unique in that. When we're not. Everyone is connected. It's whether we recognize the connection or not. That's what makes us strong. Okay? And the next part is all about judging people. So this part was really interesting to me because I find myself thinking or being around people and thinking, man, they're really in a moment of weakness, or man, they're really not recognizing their strength, right? Or however I'm wording it in my head, there is a recognition that this person is not on top of the world right now. What they're saying is, when I am recognizing that, when I can see that, I'm connected to them and I can see that they're not operating in their highest good right now. Recognizing the parts of them that are weak is manifesting that weakness within them and within myself. So they want us to correct that by recognizing we're doing it and then changing it. Instead of looking at all the ways that that person is being weak, how is that person being strong? How is that person overcoming that weakness? How is that person standing up for themselves? How, like, maybe they're not doing it in the way that you think that they should be, but they are doing it in some way. And that's the thing that should be celebrated and recognized. Okay. So yeah, so they talk about manifesting. This was a very interesting thing because I'm always getting messages about love, like choosing love, projecting love, etc. And I really appreciated the fact that my guides clarified love in this way, because they actually said to me, love here means that you're recognizing the wrong thing or the incorrect thinking. So you're recognizing that you've just manifested weakness. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. You don't have to think, oh my gosh, I just did something wrong. I just weakened people by being weak. Like, you don't have to go into that perpetual thinking. All you have to do is extend love. Love being, I recognize that this is wrong, and I'm going to choose not to do that anymore. That's okay. Like, it's totally cool. It's done. It's over. Like, I recognize it. I'm not doing that anymore. Maybe you'll still do it, but you'll be able to catch it more. And the catching it and changing it is the part that is love. That's the part that is actually doing the healing, is the releasing and the recognizing. This was also kind of cool. So they started talking about the pendulum. And in my mind, I could see the pendulum swinging one way. And this is like the incorrect thinking pendulum. But also the pendulum can always swing back. And the thing that they're kind of talking about, or the image that I'm receiving, is that every time you correct it, and you correct it with love, it starts swinging less and less and less and less, until eventually it's not swinging anymore. So you don't have those like big lows and those big highs. You're just going to end up coming into this like steady state of alignment. And that alignment place, that's coming in with practice. So continuing your practice. They say that all the time. To get into your practice, stick to the practice. And that practice is what prevents the pendulum from swinging into those big highs and those big lows. Also, they always give me messages about the ocean. So human emotion is like the ocean. And I love that it rhymes too. I didn't really realize that till just now. But the emotion of what we have is so big. Sometimes they can be super big emotions, sometimes they can be just like tiny little waves, right? And they're bringing the ocean as the analogy because it's the greatest symbolism they could think of. Because, like I said, sometimes there's big storms, sometimes there's just big waves, sometimes we just get grumpy. Like, grumpiness happens, anger for no reason happens. Like, we're humans, things happen, whatever. It's the energy or vibration of the day. But that doesn't mean that we're failing, and it doesn't mean that we're doing anything wrong. It just means that we're in practice, we're in swing or in flow, like we're figuring it out, we're coming to that state of alignment. So I hope that all makes sense to you guys. This channeled message started off as kind of a message just for me. It started off with me asking my guides, what is something that I need to know and recognize today? However, as the message continued on, I realized that there was more to it. There's more about this message. In fact, my guide at the end even told me, hey, this is something that needs to go on YouTube. You need to share this with the people who are coming to you for advice, and share this with people so they realize that connection is there. So whenever I start doing automatic writing, typically what ends up happening is I ask who the guide is. In this case, my guide didn't really want to tell me his name because he didn't think I would believe it, which is true. I didn't. I had a very hard time accepting his name and accepting his identification code, I guess you could call it. And actually, that's kind of what he's calling it, which is a little strange. So bear with me because sometimes I get messages as I'm talking, and so I have to figure out what I'm saying, what it's coming out as. But anyway, so this guy did feel as if I wouldn't really recognize his identification code, and so he left it to the very end. However, the beginning of these messages started off with things that I am doing, things that I am accepting that are preventing me from coming into who I am. So it started that way. It also started with messages just for me. I read them to you guys because my guide told me that this is something that I should be sharing. So it started off with just like a very narrow scope and continued to get wider and wider for everyone. So I really wanted to be able to share that with all of you, and I was told to share it. So I'm really excited and happy to be able to have these channeled sessions. It's not very long, I know. It doesn't seem like this is like something that we don't already know, but it's something that we need to be reminded of. And so that's why I felt the need to tell you all about it. If you ever have any questions about what's going on, what these messages mean, if you want something to be clarified or anything like that, please let me know. Leave a message in the comments. I will do my very best to answer anything and everything on your mind. Also, if you would like your own channeled session or a mediumship reading or anything like that, please let me know. I do also have like more in-depth and paid readings for individuals. Most of what I'm doing right now is over Zoom, but if you are in Washington and you happen to want a reading from me, please leave it in the comments and we'll make that happen. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember, like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit that little bell because that bell will let you know when we're doing lives and events and, whenever I upload new videos. So I hope to see you guys all next time. Thank you so much for being here. Much love to you, and I'll see you all next time.